All right, I figured it out. Let's go. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining. It's hot basketball summer, and Underdog decided to give us a lovely dual set of tournaments in the sprint and the marathon. Casey, where's your fruit? You didn't bring any fruit to this lovely brunch. Give me a moment. It's been a hectic morning. Yes, as you know, as you can see, got some bubbly, got some fruit. Extra comes later on. We'll see where we go. Got my nice brunch flannel. You'll have to pardon the bed head. It's been kind of a chaotic morning, but we're out here for you lovely sickos, and that's what we're doing. Take a moment, hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff going on. We've already had a lot of fun stuff going on. If you haven't checked out the last week or so, Hope came on, talked through some contests that have dropped and have yet to be dropped. Some really interesting, fun nuggets there if you didn't check that out. And then Pat Corain, the lovely Patty Millions, joined Tom earlier this week to draft a DK team. That was super fun. Almost to 100 likes, which gets y'all a live emo full cowboy stream. That's including the eyeliner, black cowboy hat, bangs, the works. So if you haven't checked out that video and liked and commented, go check that out. A lot of fun stuff coming on. I'm shilling early because I love you all and I know you'll support us. And let's just get that out of the way before I forget, because ADHD is a thing. And once we get drafting, I will have too much fun. But I'm going to go and hop in and let's just draft and let's talk through this. Because really and truly, I don't think there's I say there's not a ton to this tournament. A lot of people call this tournament boring. That's fine. I get it. I think there's an edge in season-long cumulative scoring as far as avoiding those pitfalls of suspended players and even more so like the known health risks. Your Nick Chubbs, your J.K. Like I said, excuse me, bear with me. It's been a long weekend. J.K. Dobbins, Keaton Mitchells, guys who are going to miss a good chunk of time. T.J. Hawkinson, just name off a few guys who are definitely going to miss time, could miss a lot of time, and may struggle really returning to form, early on in the season, if at all, full season. And so I think an edge there is just knowing to avoid those landmines while we try to search for those league winners, which is what you're going to need in these contests. I enjoyed this format a lot, 20 rounds, full PPR on drafters last year, where I finished top 100 with some friends and family in the Underdog and best ball community. So, I sorry to everybody that wanted to jump in here with, I guess Sunday marathons hit different. Gobbler, if you're going to leave a negative comment in the chat like that, you better be liking and subscribing. Good vibes only. It's Sunday brunch. Come on now. Who lets you in here without a pass? So I think really, we can unearth some processes to hit on league winners. I think in a contest like this, those profiles are going to be really interesting to chase. So like the true upside is, still what we're looking for to unearth those league winners, like your Kyrens, your Pukas, your Tank Dells. I think one thing that comes to mind, and so we're on the clock at 103. I see no reason to take. And one of the things I'll kind of talk about here, targeting high-scoring offenses, targeting concentrated offenses, those things in other tournaments we chase and want, still just as valuable and viable in this tournament when you're talking about guys who can put up just insane weeks and insane seasons on really good teams. We're going to want to chase that. Outside of that, I think there are just the rookies and year two guys are still targets that we're going to want to focus on for chasing that upside. And I think an edge there as well is chasing the good year two profiles and the good rookie profiles. Now, the rookie profiles are obviously more ambiguous, harder to know exactly who's going to be good because, from college to NFL, especially a wide receiver, there's a lot of ambiguity. So I think chasing good profiles is going to be good. Yeah. Okay. Let me be more. Tom brings up a good point. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Considering where you are joining us, if you're joining us from across the pond, my lovely fruit and bubbly would go great with your dinner of whatever it is. If you're having some pasta, a pizza, perhaps a nice prosciutto with some fish, just good stuff going on here. So looking at how this draft is kind of unraveling, Amon-Ra at 5, I don't know that I go with that because Amon-Ra feels like a safer floor play than he does a ceiling play. From a season-long perspective in like raw points, I think that's fine, but I'm not doing that in the top 7 or 8 picks personally if I can avoid it, because in a contest like the marathon, you want to go for the highest upside. And Amon-Ra's upside's kind of what we've seen it to be, unless, J-Mo's a complete dud and Laporta gets hurt and he just soaks up a lot of volume. But then I think they just go run game heavy. I think in a contest like this, I'm definitely steering more into the Justin Jefferson, Puka, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson tier of what do you win when they hit big. All right, catching up on the chat real quick. What's up, Chip, Nick, KZ, Tom joining us. Yeah, funny thing, Tom and Corain drafting the other day, and I of course had to tease the 100 like reward for the fine folks, and got a lot of jokes about giving me the keys to the StreamYard. I'm glad my reputation precedes me. We just got to have fun, and if it's not a little bit dangerous and a little bit loose at times, then it's just not as fun, How's everybody doing today? What's everybody been up to this weekend? Who the hell is Craig Kimbrell? Oh, is that baseball? Yeah, I don't know much baseball. Sorry, guys. I can't talk best. It's all football for me. It's a Texas one sport religion. All right, coming up here on the 22nd pick. Let's see. Mike Evans, Nico Collins go ahead of me. Hard to say no to Debo. When you think about marathon, I do consider potentially HN for really targeting that offense and those huge points and what he's able to give. But I think from a roster construction standpoint, I think I'm going to go Debo here for season long and week to week, getting access to that San Francisco team. I tend to go that way, especially because we've seen him have we know he can sun run just stupid, ridiculous, high efficiency touchdown plays. And in a season where he does that, he's probably easily the best, if not one of the best, 2-3 turn players, worthy of a first round pick. So I don't mind that at all, especially as a leverage point. We talk about leverage off of CMC. Well, in a season that CMC misses a good chunk of time, you're gaining a lot on the field that took CMC in this tournament. I kind of like the idea of like an anchor running back build for the marathon, guys who can hit big seasons and big weeks. I've been torn on taking Kyren in those spots because I think his single season upside is really, really strong, and we just saw that. But I don't know that we get much more of that there. And while it's valuable in the third round, I think we could probably piece that stuff together. So, I'm torn here. Part of me wants to get attached to another high scoring offense and be done at wide receiver sooner than later. You know what? Yeah, let's go zero running back. I kind of like the idea of going zero running back in a marathon environment where we can chase the chaos and the league winners in volume and in profile. And, as much as I like Kyren for the playoff week tournaments, there's definitely some concern that he missed 4 games with a high ankle sprain last year. He had a severe ankle sprain and foot injury his rookie year. And so, future predictor of injury is past injury history. So in a cumulative scoring environment, I probably lean a little bit towards, zero running back benefits from chaos. So let's lean into that. That said, I probably want to be done with my running backs before too long, just because drafting this early, the profiles of backup guys who are really valuable are going to be unearthed over the next, few months in camp, injuries, what have you. So I definitely want to be mindful of how I'm attacking that. And, taking Devonta there, maybe just maybe in a room like this, Hurts comes back around. I've seen that happening in a few drafts, and that'd be really awesome. Katie, you were doing laundry. Let me start over. Sure. TLDR, welcome. Best Ball Brunch. Bubbly and fruit in the background. Nice breathable shirt. No less than 3 buttons unbuttoned. And we're trying to do marathon. Running marathons on hot best ball summer. Get that hot, sexy sweat going. Sweat for 300K up top, mind you. And only 18 rounds. So that is one of the things I am struggling with a bit. Coming over from the drafters format where it's 20 rounds, you do have 2 less rounds to work with. So I think, over on drafters, it's very prudent and easy to go 3 quarterback, 3 tight end. Over here, a little bit tougher to thread considering that you still need, ideally you want 4 receivers to be able to hit your lineup and flex. I think in a tournament like this, if you hit on like a league-winning running back who's filling in running back or flex slot, that's probably fine and good. But one of your positions is going to have to be a little thin. So this tournament's probably, and this kind of leans towards those old like Scott Barrett, like, profitability in your 12-man pod, blah, 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 just from a standpoint of like allocation to each position. This is probably a tournament where I probably lean 3 quarterbacks stacked up, but if I can get 2 undervalued, high upside, high floor guys, this again, if we hit a league winning quarterback, which there are a couple profiles like that available both mid and late, that's probably where I'm going to chase for this tournament specifically. And this is interesting because the early marathons I was seeing, I had a sneaking suspicion that you'd see a lot of like double elite tight end and quarterback builds. And right now, no quarterback's been taken off the board through early, 4 picks through the 4th round. I do think you're going to see a lot of people attacking double elite quarterback, and I think that hamstrings your team from the standpoint of lacking that upside at wide receiver specifically in a season-long tournament because you're taking a 0 with one of your 18 picks every single week in the top 5 rounds. And I can probably match that with guys like Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, maybe Drake May, depending on how early they start. But like those rookies with really cheap costs and really high upsides in both the pass and the run game. So that's probably where I'm attacking it there. Good morning and good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are on this fine planet, Meatwad and fine folk. Coming up here back on the turn, Jalen Hurts right in front of me. Let's see if I get sniped. That'd be a bummer. Bleeding the clock down is Ryan Lowe, 7. He goes Lamar Jackson, so we are going to be windmilling Jalen Hurts around the turn, but I will just take a moment to kind of see what the room is doing and adjust. Josh Allen goes mid-4th. The Lamar draft is probably hoping for Andrews to come back around. So this will be interesting. Where do I pop the lid on running back or elite tight end here? Or do I keep pissing this mimosa and coffee mixture out of my body this morning? Not sure. That definitely. Also, I think another way to attack it, I think you're just going to want to attack this through like falling quarterbacks that can crush. So anytime the elite guys fall, but specifically guys like Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray, those guys falling, I think could be huge crushes. Jordan Love already showed us like season long and weekly a really nice ceiling. So I'm probably going to attack this tournament through the mid quarterbacks and late guys. A guy like Goff in this cumulative scoring where he's only got like 3 outside games on a really high scoring offense, when he's falling into the 130s, 140s at times. I think that's another great way to attack it. You bolster like a Jaden and Goff, is going to be super awesome, I think, for floor and ceiling week to week. AR, I think, is probably that other skeleton key for a guy who could, easily be a top quarterback, lap the field totally. And in this contest where you don't really need to stack as much, and I'm not stacking with Pittman very often. I think that's super viable in a contest like this. Man, I'm kind of torn. I love Trey McBride here. Comes back a few picks after ADP. Terry gives us a stack with Jaden. I think I'm going to lean the elite tight end, and I'm definitely open to what folks think they would have done there. I like Trey McBride a lot. If he's going to fall there into the 5th round, I'm very much into it. His upside is just he finished as a top tight end last year, mainly on receptions and yards, not a lot of touchdown equity there, despite him profiling that way very well. And we expect this offense to improve. We expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to open up more scoring drives and just higher scoring projections week in and week out. So probably that's probably one. And season long youth guys, a guy that hasn't struggled with injury, and a lot of people talk about being questionable on McBride. One thing I push back on that is when he hit that like 75 to 80% route share halfway through last season, which he did halfway through it, he was crushing. And so full season of that, he's probably going back to back with Laporta as far as like that expectation and that desire. And that was without touchdowns. Just so like we're betting on routes, we're betting on youth, betting on he showed he could be like Travis Kelce-esque, like just target dominator, really efficient, not quite as, elite levels of efficiency, underlying metrics, Madison Parkhill noted as the Kittle, Andrews, and Kelce tier, but youth without injury history, without the touchdown equity there, and the athleticism to be able to get there. I like that bet a lot over the full season. Yeah. Yeah, Nick's saying exactly that. The you know what, I can start pulling these up. Yep, totally agree as far as stacking partners. And then Nick noting that, second half of last year. And you always want to be careful with like back half, splits things, but that back half of the season was when he got all those routes and all those snaps and then just dominated. So Trey McBride definitely is a guy who's likely to be easily the number 2 option on his team. And after that, what if he's the number 1 option in the red zone? Who knows? So he's huge body, super athletic. I like that. I like that pairing a lot, especially as far as onesie. This allows me to not have to go 3 tight end. And so the nice thing, and I think Chip noted here, single elite QB, single tight end. Yeah, I kind of agree. You kind of view this as like almost like a season long like battle royale slate, almost. And so at that point, you're kind of allowing yourself to allocate more to the positions that benefit from quantity. So this is where I can now go, just 2 quarterback, 2 tight end, and feel really good about my floor and my ceiling, and guys that could easily finish number 1 at their respective positions, which we really need to be able to finish first, or even top 5 in this contest. And that, and in a 0 running back, I lean the elite tight end there to be able to really unlock more allocation to the running backs to try to hit on some of those big spikes, though. I'm assuming you mean Kyler, but if you want to backstack me, hit the chat. Hit those super chats. Cody says, I have tried to get Kittle to come back around and grab Goddard later. Yeah, I mean, both those guys tend to kind of fall. I think Kittle in this contest is interesting because, he dealt with that injury all last year and still put up a really good season. Didn't hit neither Andrews, Kittle, or Kelce, as Madison Parkhill, to go back to that tight end study. Neither one of them hit their touchdown expectations of previous seasons. And if they did, they would have finished right there in line. Obviously, all those guys are getting older. They've struggled with more injuries. So that's definitely something to be mindful of, that in season long, Kittle's fine, but I still think in season long cumulative points, I prefer Kittle in a 3 quarterback build to help with his downswings to get access to those 30-point games. And that's tough taking elite tight end that you feel more comfortable building 3 there. So the guys I'm kind of looking at here, I don't want to break the seal on running back yet. I'm not as into Jordan Addison as some other folks are. I presented my bull case for Ladd McConkey in that offense, but I think he's more of a floor play. I think when looking at who could really explode and provide you a lot of value, Brian Thomas having that just insane athleticism, single year, I know is a little bit, single year of like really elite production in college is tough. But if one guy in this offense is going to take over and be an alpha, and Gretsch did some really good, he talked one of his slow streams this week. He talked through like, Brian Thomas Jr. never profiled as like an alpha target earner, but just insanely efficient and explosive on his opportunities. Well, I feel pretty good about him getting opportunities next to the likes of Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. So at that point, I just want to bet on if he's hitting my lineup with these guys season long, I want access to a rookie. I want access to a really good rookie. I think they'll have more pass volume than the Chargers. And I think from a standpoint of who could just break fantasy at his cost, be a true league winner in the 6th, 7th round off of just touchdowns purely, which half-point PPR matters a lot, Brian Thomas is an easy slam bet for that. Now the question here is breaking the seal on running back or continuing to build with receiver. And I think, Montgomery presents an interesting leverage point, access to a high-scoring offense, access to an offense that runs a lot in the red zone, access to a guy that is a better version of Jamal Williams, who broke fantasy, albeit in the 11th, 12th round a couple years ago, with just stupid, insane 20 touchdown season. Montgomery's not going anywhere. His success rate was awesome. And the offense is going to continue to be awesome. A lot of home games. We expect them to score a lot of points. And his standalone value there is awesome. And contingent value, if anything happens to Jameer kind of gets relegated to more, like, they said they want to get him more work, but what that more work looks like, not sure. He could get more receiving work, which would be awesome for his cost, given where you're drafting him, given that they've let Reynolds go. But there's a pretty good chance that they just, and the offense kind of dealt with some injuries last year as well. So if we're talking about a guy who could break really well, kind of need a running back there, considering I know, Star Kindler advocating for his boy JSN. Season long, that's a tough click in the 7th. Coach Speak Index on Twitter this morning, actually, right before the stream. Coach Speak Index was tweeting out some information from the coaching staff, from Mike McDonald, from Grubb, from Howell on how that Washington Huskies OC offense is going to adapt. And one thing that was very consistent and noted was a run game focus. So the vertical explosive aspects will be there, but they talked a lot about efficient, powerful, good run game that they build off of in the, deep passing and play action. And so if JSN right now profiles as the third target in an offense that I think will be much more efficient for sure. They were just horribly inefficient running and passing at times. Shane Waldron, I give a little bit of the blame to losing both their tackles and having some O-line health issues for the second year in a row. Definitely part of that. But that's a tough click in cumulative scoring if you're the third option on a potential, like, what we hope at best they're neutral to slightly above neutral pass rate over expectation as the third target. That's a tough sell. I think JSN's a better click in a single week tournament. Lockett's been really healthy. I know his age curve's still really bad, but Kelsey is older than him and still playing fine. Keenan Allen's not much younger. He has had more injuries and he's being drafted in the 4th round. So those are guys I think JSN smashes if he's actually good and, hits contingent value of Metcalf or Lockett missing time. One of those guys has missed a lot of time, though. So that's where I struggle with that. All right, we're on the clock. 8th round, 94th pick. Our darling Jalen. I don't love any of these guys. I think Jalen Warren presents really nice upside season long from the standpoint of really efficient on the ground, really efficient in the air. I think either one of these quarterbacks starting in Russ or Fields, they both target running backs pretty well for running quarterbacks. And we know that Arthur Smith is going to run the shit out of the ball. And we know that Tomlin wants to run the shit out of the ball. And they have a schedule that's tough, but I could easily see this team deciding we're just going to run the hell out of it. And Jalen could just break out with awesome touchdown efficiency, or he could just outplay Najee for stretches of the season, which in a zero running back build, I like this a lot. And yeah, as Richard Cooling notes, true sanctuary draft with Warren selection. Yeah, I think Warren is definitely beloved by the ship chasing community, the leg up community, and the fantasy sanctuary community. So bid equity plus access to a potentially like really, really efficient, really high scoring run game there. And if anything, and again, contingency value in a marathon sprint, either one of these running backs in David Montgomery or Warren, if they're the starter because of injury or whatever, huge, huge leverage and expected fantasy points. Imagine not drafting Warren. Couldn't be me. I definitely don't have as much Warren as some of my other folks, but I like him plenty. I was also hoping someone would come back around, and he does. All right. So we did talk about definitely some concerns with play volume over the season, but Lockett's been in those situations before, and he's been fine. Down season with just injuries to the O-line, and I just think a pretty uncreative Shane Waldron and too much inefficient running on early downs. I do still want access to those big weeks he has. If he's going to crack my lineup in either the starting wide receiver roles or the flex, he still has massive play expectation and touchdown. And if the passing offense is more efficient, which I think is what we're betting on, it's just more efficient. And I think we can say that it likely will be. But O-line's got to stay healthy this time, right? Can't get hurt 3 years in a row. The Chargers say hello. But I love that bet a lot. Meat One says, I feel underweight on Warren and I have 18%. Yeah, I know. It's because guys like Karain and some of our ship chasing folks are going to have 30 to 40%. Our lovely co-host and DraftKings aficionado Tom Strachan notes, one more sub for 2,200. Folks, let me take a moment and shill. Please please subscribe. Join us. We're going to have a lot of fun. I want to do more of these solo streams, talking through Underdog, talking with y'all, throwing out some takes, having some lovely weekend or evening drafts. Just fill in your timeline with good stuff. So subscribe, join us. We are planning a really, really fun, I'll just say idea for a goal. That's a better word for it. Really fun goal for 2,500 subs and 3K subs. You're gonna want to be around for that. You're gonna want to be around for that 100 like video sub goal. Don't miss that. So hit that sub, hit that bell. It's awesome stuff. Aside from all the Underdog stuff, aside from all the DraftKings stuff, also Rich is doing a ton of awesome work for Dynasty, for redraft. It's just good stuff all around. You're gonna get high quality, well produced content. The pre-recorded stuff that Tom and Rich do, fantastic, quick hitting, 10, 12 minute videos. Tom just released, I think in the last week, both elite quarterback and elite tight end, talking through those things. You're arguing about them in the Discords, you're arguing about them on the Twitter Spaces. Come check it out. Get more ammo, get more consolidated information in quick tidbits, and support the channel, support the community. We support you, and we love you, and we want to see you around. So come join us. What up? Top Stat. I've seen you around in a lot of other channels. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you, man. Hit that like, hit that sub. We're drafting a marathon team here. Kind of turned out all right. You know what? Great moment let's go ahead and read off the team through 10 rounds. Jalen Hurts, a little after ADP at pick 46. Awoo! And running back, we have David Montgomery, who will not die, will not go away like a cockroach. Jalen Warren, this generation's Jesus, I think. At wide receiver, we have Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Smith, Brian Thomas Jr., dropped the Jr. on Underdog for reasons unknown. Tyler, great name, Lockett, and at tight end, Trey McBride. One of my favorite players A lot of fun things going on. I'm going to check in on the draft room, see if anything wonky's going around. That's a fun Jaden and Brock Purdy. Really fun QB pairing. Like that a lot. Looks like Brock Purdy unstacked. Not as big of a deal in season long, I think, from that standpoint. And I say it's. I think the access you're still getting in stacking and cumulative scoring is still that is a micro boost and an edge, but it's not going to kill you. Obviously, if you built well. Interesting build though to do triple robust start running back and then target some interesting players. So that the edge in these is alive and well, in my humble opinion. All right, so I think I'm going to push quarterback here. I don't really love any of the running backs. Not a big Eckler guy. I'm not touching Chubb in the top 120 in this contest. I don't know if you can make me touch him at any point. I think I want to go receiver. I think we're going to go for high-scoring passing offense, weeks that Brandon Cooks cracks my lineup. He's probably hitting 120 yards and a touchdown, was really close to a couple 2-touchdown games. Total season, give me a top 5 passing offense. Look, Rory, thanks for coming. Thanks for chatting. If you know me, and you might not, so I'm going to explain here. I love coming up with the weirdest, most out there analogies and references I can. So keep on tuning in, and you'll get plenty more. I know. It's a bummer. It's a bummer to not be able to be. I mean, I've never really been in on Chubb at price, given his profile. You know what? I'll do a little soliloquy about why I'm not in on Chubb, but especially in a cumulative scoring way. How about you shush? How about you shush? Okay, we're trying to push people. Relax. Oh, he went. Okay, I apologize for shushing you. 1-2-6-1 build. I don't love any of these guys. Corum is leverage off of Kyron, but in cumulative season, I mean, here's what I'm looking at, guys. It's kind of ugly. I think we're just going to go with the Dallas stack. Just chase some of those touchdowns and pass volume. It's not fun, but season long, 0 running back. That's true. Another Bateman, another favorite of the sanctuary and and leg up and ship chasing. A guy I'm famously not in on this year. The thing with Bateman is like what his upside is the OBJ role, who like the underlying efficiency stuff was like, oh, this seems really good, and then he wasn't doing anything with it. It's tough. I think if they hadn't drafted Devontae Walker and hadn't re-signed Aguilar and then extended and talked up Bateman, it'd be a more interesting dynamic. I don't know. Just Zay Flowers is good. Year 2 bump. We expect potentially some more development in like, especially and I think Tom and a few other folks have noted, the deep passing is somewhere that Flowers and Lamar really started connecting later in the season. Devontae Walker, they talked up as like their deep Torrey Smith guy. So Bateman's role is like, and Harmon's noted Bateman's probably better. Like he's getting open deep, but like they're not using him that way. So what? They're going to turn him into like a Keenan Allen, where he's like a short, low ADOT yak guy in a low pass offense as potentially the third target. I mean, do what you want with your 16th or 18th round picks, but it doesn't sound fun to me. And I'm only getting to say this negative bear case because Tom's not on right now. Look, I used to say this in high school math all the time, and I say it in 0 running back builds as well. And it's this: ugly but doable. Okay? Ugly but doable. Great question. Where did Tommy Hudson go? Did they leave him on the board? I mean, like, what a steal. Hilarious that his ADP is just because of the one rage draft. Show me your XFL players who could be sleepers in the 18th round in the chat. Hit that like, hit that sub. Give me your sleepers that are XFL players. Kavonte Turpin. I already named that for you. Best ball guy, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I heard you weren't going to stream for 3 days while on travel and decided, well, this is my opportunity to get in a solo stream and fill the void with another trying to be as handsome and well fit as best ball guy. No, it's fine. Yeah, no, yeah, Starkindler, Schilling, Elijah Moore. I mean, there's worse picks. You could be picking Claypool in the 18th round. People did forget about our Lord and Savior Donald Big Dick Parham Too Fast KZ. I agree. All right, we're coming up on the 12-10. Justin Herbert on the board. Kirk Cousins on the board. We are windmilling Marshawn Lloyd available to us as our fourth running back. Did I get your Chubbs back? Did I get your Chubbs back? Bring the Chubbs. And bring the likes. Hit the like button while you're here. Hit the subscribe button while you're here. I will not stop asking for those. All those things really help, and it helps you see that stuff, helps us see this stuff, and it just keeps the train churning. You know what I'm saying? So if we hit the 100 likes, you're getting eyeliner, you're getting bangs, you're getting black cowboy hat, you're getting the most emo of emo cowboys for an entire live stream. You want that. I want that. Give it to you. Help me help you. How dare you? How dare you come in here? It's not even, if he was an 18th round pick, I still wouldn't take him, but it would be more more palatable. Thank you, best ball guy. Hope your little trip's going well. I know little short trip, not little as in like non-derogatory little. All right. I don't have a second tight end yet. I don't feel the need to take one. I'm kind of torn here between Ty Chandler and Burton. Burton's a really nice rookie access, but I think I need to take Chandler. Again, cumulative scoring, 0 running back build, and I did say at the top I wanted to be done with running back before, my last pick is in the 18th round, fine, but I don't want to be my last 2 running back picks being the last 2 rounds, given where we are in the draft season. I think there are some potential landmines and cumulative scoring, and this early, I think there's an edge to fade the injured guys, fade the suspended guys, and fade the uncertain handcuffs late. And so I want to try to be cognizant of that and do that because I think that's the edge to pick. Oh, Nick saying QJ the XFL in 2026. Understood. Great call out. Yeah. No. Talking about a guy that's going to be cut or traded any day now. I mean, yeah. You know what? So, Casey, it's funny you say that. I'm actually friends with Shane Told, lead singer of Silverstein. Silverstein, one of the greatest Canadian, I'm not going to say it, greatest Canadian band of all time. Come at me, Canadians. I'm friends with Shane on Snapchat. Met him a couple times. Super cool dude. I could probably ask him if, like, hey, can I play some Silverstein background stuff? I got to look into next solo stream you get. I promise we'll have some background music, and I promise it'll probably be emo-esque. I know there's a few folks. I'm big into the emo scene. Shocker, I know. I know a few of those folks in record companies have. I think it's Kurt Travis's. Kurt Travis of A Lot Like Birds, of Golden Necklace, of formerly Dance Gavin Dance, and all of his solo stuff. I think his record company has a bunch of like non-royalty stuff. David, my buddy, welcome. Coffee, bubbly, keeping it lively. Welcome. That is true. Yeah, you fine folks haven't abused the super chat to your advantage. Kind of shocked. We do not use ducks around here. I need something far more my brand and the fantasy brand. And ducks and beach don't go well. And ducks and emo don't go well. This is like sad ducks. Show me a sad ducks track. Meatwad asks, since you mentioned fading uncertain handcuffs, how are you approaching Braylon Allen? So again, in the marathon for cumulative points, I'm not taking a Jets backup until I get confirmation on who that is. It's way too early to like. I know Braylon's like the hot shit of the week, but That doesn't mean he's going to be the backup come into. I think there's value in that backup in a shittier Matt LaFleur style offense under Nathaniel Hackjob. But until we get confirmation on who that guy is, I'm not super interested because there is going to be some work in both the pass and the run game. Best ball guy for an 18th round pick. We need to start thinking through which guy has the biggest schlong. I mean, famously, the Adam Levitan, God, what is it? Big Dick. Hold on. Gonna make this pick and I'm gonna come back to finish that joke out. We're a 1561. Not loving anybody here. I know who everyone's looking at. I think I'm going to be done at tight end. I'm going to take a guy who could really pop in expected touchdown usage in Juwan and think I'll be done. Oh, Ian, I love you so much. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. What's that Levitan dick bit? Totally blanking right now. But yeah. Chase the big dick. If they got a big dick, they got that dog in him. That's all I'm gonna say. Exactly. That's his leg graft season. That's just science. That's basic science. Appreciate everybody being here on this fine Best Ball Brunch Sunday solo stream. That's a lot of S's. You're really welcome. Okay, so I haven't been taking a lot of either Denver guy. I probably should. Might also be prudent to get close to being done at running back. Quarterback, there's not really a guy. I'm just going to take Khalil Herbert here. I think, again, 0 running back. I want talent. I want upside. I want a guy that could be a big smash if poorly priced. Khalil Herbert, I don't think is simply going away. DeAndre Swift famously shared the backfield 50-50, 60-40 with Kenny G in Philly last year. Shane Waldron kind of mixed in both the Seattle backs last year. Give me a guy who we know is really good and who kept rookie Roshan Johnson kind of on the bench and useless for big chunks of the season and had 20 and 30-point games. I'm going to chase that type of profile at running back, especially in his 0 running back build. I think his contingent value and his standalone value in Chicago are still good. And yeah, he has the cut trade narrative, but it really does seem like the Bears just hold on to their shit too long, doesn't it? So even at cost, I'll take a super talented guy who standalone could provide some really good value. And if DeAndre Swift, who famously tends to miss time, is the starting running back, huge hit in the 15th round. 202 people watching. Thank you so much. Welcome to Best Ball Brunch. Hit that like, hit that sub. Join us as we marathon our way to $300,000. And if you get a chat here live on a team that wins it all, isn't that awesome? That's an awesome thought. So, show me. We're in the last 3 rounds. Cumulative scoring. What am I at? I'm in a 1662 build with Jalen Hurts, David Montgomery, Jalen Warren, Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd, Ty Chandler, Khalil Herbert, and then at wide receiver, we're still rocking with Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Smith, Brian Thomas, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, and at tight end, Trey McBride, Juwan Johnson. Probably done at tight end. Probably only do 1 quarterback. Might be done at running back. I could be convinced to take another one, and I might. So this might end up being a 2-7-7-2 build. So yeah, quarterback. Might go 2 more receivers, trying to chase those like young rookie and year 2 profiles that could really smash. Open to anything. Star Kindler and best ball guy, loving the Herbert pick. I knew I could win y'all back over with that. Best ball guy notes, I feel like you have to take one of the Denver guys because between Mims and Franklin, I think only one of them will be good because of their similarities. You have to factor in that Sutton could be moved. Yeah. I think if they were going to move Sutton, they would have already done that. We got the Ben Albright and other insider reports that and that's a guy you can trust in the Denver beat. That Pittsburgh called around, which is one reason why I'm a little cool on Pickens right now, because Pickens ADP assumes that they're not going to add anybody else. They added Roman. They called about Ayuk. They called about Sutton. They called about someone else like 3 times. So they wanted another guy, and I don't think Roman's probably that guy. But I think if they're going to move Sutton, they would have moved him. I think Peyton knows rookie quarterback, you need all the receivers you can get, because there's a good chance Mims is not that guy. There's a really good chance Troy Franklin's not that guy. And then what? You've got them plus Brandon Johnson and little Jordan Humphrey. I don't think he's getting moved at this point. Nick says Herbert's going to be everybody's favorite pick that doesn't end up doing anything because he's blocked all year. I mean, Swift does not profile as like a 90% workload guy, and they're talking up his pass catching chops early on, and since they drafted him. So I think he takes Roshan Johnson's work more than he takes Khalil Herbert's like early rushing work. And Herbert's still got that red zone efficiency and build. So yeah. Let's see. Right about to pick for our 16th round. Staring down a barrel of Will Levis. Quarterback's probably something prudent to think about. I could probably push it around the turns. The question is, who do I want? Tough spot. I think I'm going to push quarterback. I'm going to keep pushing quarterback because I have Hurts. And if Hurts doesn't crush, this team isn't crushing. Whoa, got locked out. That's fun. Hope I starred Devontae Walker in time. Womp. I got Luke McCaffrey. Well, that was fun. Thanks, Underdog. Well, I took the right position. Not the guy I would have wanted. I wanted Devontae Walker there. Would have preferred that profile, but we're rocking with Luke McCaffrey. So we might end up going another receiver. We'll see. I think got a week 5 bye. I think we're going to go Derek Carr here for the stack for an undervalued starter, probably full season, given how the Saints operate. They did get, I think, a big upgrade in OC as far as utilizing motion, which I think he needs to be successful, especially in the red zone where he's usually not good. And that presents us another guy that we could potentially backstack coming back around in the last round. Probably looking at running back or receiver at that 18th round pick. All right, let me get caught back up on the chat. Let's see. Thoughts on Fields late in this contest? I mean, I think it's a slightly less appealing bet given if you're hoping he starts late. I think that it really just comes down. I think Russ and Fields in this contest really just comes down to: did you get boxed out of quarterback? Do you need upside at quarterback? And what is your take on what's going to go down? And I think if you think Russ is only going to start 8 to 9 games, I think Fields and an elite quarterback pairing is prudent for that humongous upside. But if you think Fields is far more likely getting Trey Lanced than he is to start the full season, I think you probably got to roll the rookies instead. And I think in a cumulative scoring environment, I think Fields probably still makes sense in 3 quarterback builds if you're pushing quarterback late. I think Russ is probably the more prudent pick right now in this contest, given what we know. If we get more ambiguity, I think he makes for a great pick. But right now, with the vibes, with the coach speak, I think you just got to think that they're going to really flop hard and then give Fields a chance for more than 4 games. Because I think 18 rounds, it's a tough sell for a guy that might. I think every quarterback around him becomes a much better pick in a cumulative scoring environment in my vibes-based analysis. Yeah, Nick kind of agreeing. Yeah, 20 rounds makes that more palatable. Best ball guy noting that Giants wide receivers he likes. Yeah, Gretsch was in the Discord last night, kind of agreeing that in the sprint and the marathon, Giants were a nice undervalued piece to go after. I don't disagree with that at all. I think it's just tough to know right now, like who's a better play there, because Neighbors is going to be the target hog. So do you want Slayton, the long X touchdown guy, or do you want to chase? And my personal take is I think Wandale and Hyatt kind of cannibalize each other for that slot role. So that's where it's kind of tough for that take. Nick, following up on the Mims Franklin conversation, they just alternate weeks given how low the costs are. I think you can just get decent deep threat wide receiver via both. I mean, I don't mind double stacking them if you're going to take Nicks and pass on Sutton. I just worry that I think one of Franklin or Mims is getting the Judy role. That Judy role was fine. Judy's not great, but like it was fine. And so the question is, who do you think wins the Judy role? And is the Judy role more valuable than, and because like the third guy is going to be like the deep Mims role, who had some big games early, but kind of just got phased out of the offense. So, and it's just tough. I'm probably not taking a guy coming off his second ACL and third injury in a row over the age of 28. Great question, D. Lou Tomsky. I'll do a second draft if we get over enough likes. How many likes are we up to? Let me check. I think if we're over 60 likes, I'll do a second draft. I don't mind. Por favor. Josh Reynolds, and then I'll catch up on the chat. Devontae Walker comes back around. Crazy. Daniel Jones. Also, I think, Daniel Jones is probably a better pick than Fields. I am worried about his injury, but as far as like more games with more just efficiency pops, I think that makes a lot of sense. My preferred running back is not available. Eric Reed, talk. You know what? I think with the 6 running back room, I probably got to trust that I handled it well. I'll double check receivers here. I'm gonna go McMillan. I think rookies are a way to really vault yourself in these contests. McMillan has the lower ADP, got the volume blocker. I think McMillan has a chance to just straight beat Palmer out of the job. He's got contingency upside for either of Godwin and Evans missing time, and his profile coming in college is really, really exciting. So I think if I didn't love any of the running backs there, I think I made the good bets with the good profiles. So in that environment, I'd rather chase the wide receiver upside. One thing to note that, and I retweeted this from someone on Twitter, totally blanking on the name, so but they did some best ball mania data and showed that the second and third year receiver guys were positive advance rates. You had 5 to 6 year 1 and year 2 guys. So I think we've seen that when rookies and year 2 guys are, especially not just late season, they can be late season hammers, but the ones that really pop help your advance rates, period. And so advance rates correlate to cumulative scoring. So I'm going to chase that a lot. Best ball guy, I prefer Josh Reynolds given he's super free and he's got paid. He's probably the guy that's favored to play like a big body role. And so Josh Reynolds makes me concerned that Mims and Franklin don't play the field at the same time. I think that's where Franklin beats Mims out, and Mims is more of the return guy with the new rules. But I think the median those guys just kind of cannibalize each other. Because you just can't trust what Peyton's saying after everything he said last year. Let's see. I think it was 15 million over 2 years. Up to, yeah. But yeah, guarantee's a little bit lower. Which pick? The Luke McCaffrey pick? Well, Yosh, thanks for saying hey. Welcome. Catch up on on the chat. I'll chat the team. Yeah, that was kind of thinking AT Perry if I would have gotten the guy I want. I think like the season scoring. I've got him skinny stacked. That's Juwan hits on the touchdowns, and Carr is just a guy who floats that week 5 by and just gives me uh, some stuff. Hey, thanks for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your trip, basketball guy. Still June 1. Who? Sutton? Thompson, Perry. I think Perry's a much better play in the tournament style, where we saw him get lucky with, 2 touchdowns. Much, I think A.T. Perry with a much better, like, single week or playoff stretch in the marathon specifically. I think that's a interesting leverage piece, but I don't think he profiles to be a worthwhile third receiver. I think your receivers are gonna be Olave, finally getting some focus, Shaheed, who's just stupidly efficient, one of Kamara or Kendra, if not both, are gonna be that, like, check down absorption guy, and Perry's the auxiliary 4th or 5th option at that point, depending on how much room fits in. So, I think middle of the season, that's tough. That's tough. Awesome. Very good. Phonics, the power of phonics. Star Kindler with a very, very, very generous 9.69 out of 10. I appreciate it. So let me do a quick recap while I check in on the likes to see if y'all want the second draft. Doesn't look like it, and that's okay. We finished with a 2-6-8-2 build and Jalen Hurts with Derek Carr at running back, 0 running back, anchored with David Montgomery, Jalen Warren, Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd, Ty Chandler, Khalil Herbert. Like how this profiles as far as standalone and contingent value and just potentially mispriced upside. And a guy like, Lloyd can play the Aaron Jones role. They talked up his pass catching, they talked up his long speed, high scoring offense, like that a lot. Ty Chandler, huge contingent value if Aaron Jones misses time, which at his age and contract could very well do that. We could see him kind of like get held out or hold himself out a la Keenan Allen last year with, hey, I got injured. I don't have a second year in my contract. First guarantee. It could be a huge stretch and should have some standalone value as well. And we've seen him be pretty good. Khalil Herbert, kind of the same thesis. Wide receiver, we started pretty heavy with Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Smith, and Thomas. We got an undervalued, I think, Tyler Lockett, huge, huge guy there at pick 99 in killing contest. Brandon Cook, Luke McCaffrey, auto click, but what is the guy you need? Jalen McMillions, baby. Can't stop. And in tight end, we got Trey McBride and Johnson. I think probably how I'm going to tend to build most of the marathon teams going forward. Probably mix in some of those mid and late 3 quarterback builds, the occasional tight end build, but I'm probably trying to be pretty close to donut wide receiver early, I think, from a standpoint of, like, access to high scoring elite seasons and then tacking on 1, 2, 3 of those young guys late to try to just truly find Bengals, we're not gonna nap shame around here. Appreciate you jumping in. Thanks for coming. So that's the team we ended up with in the marathon. Kind of liked it a lot. Skinny stack hurt, skinny stack car. A different, but very climate to potential. I don't know. I look at this running back room, and this is kind of like, you know, MILF with new titties. Like, you, you can imagine what that looks like. Well, you know what? We got 40 likes. I'll hang around for a little bit if anybody wants to chat for a few minutes. 60 likes gets you a second draft. If not, no worries. It can be a nice, tight 1 hour. Reynolds asked, no Kareem Hunt. The call is coming from inside the house. I will take Kareem Hunt when and if we get news. I famously had like 40% Kareem Hunt in the big board, and I want to apologize for that because I ended up with, God, what was it? Like 30% Zeke, stupidly cheap, and just 0 running back in big board made a lot of sense. So for like taking a lot of rookies, who I think got nut outcomes in Marshawn especially I was really heavy on. So, if Kareem Hunt is a 0 in my 7 and 8 running back builds in order to get me usable Zeke and usable. I'll take it. I'll take that all day. Checking to see if we had any super weird or notably fun teams. This Puka, Drake one, and Cooper Cup Tank Dell team: Stroud, Walker, JMO, Brooks, Robinson, Gus, Schultz, Stafford, Musgrave, Algier, Jamarcus Robinson, Wandale, Theo, and Hyatt. That's really fun. Capitulate, hilarious name with a really fun team. Construction shot. That's 2-5-8 build. Interesting to go 5 running backs with Walker, Brooks, Robinson, Gus, and Algier there. I guess Gus and Robinson, you're bet, and I love Robinson. So I guess you're really hinging on because Walker gets the full workhorse treatment and an efficient better offense. Just as far as run game efficiency, I guess, line health. You're hoping Brooks hits his stride by like week 4, 5, or 6. I think at this price, that's kind of tough in a 5 running back build for Brooks. You expect 2 to 4 or 6 at most. Again, we're not sure what the timeline for his like true like return to form is going to be. His running back catch ability is going to help negate some of that efficiency. He will lose out for the first games returning back. So I guess this is kind of betting Boyd's pup. He does get on the field in the first couple weeks. These guys crush on touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. He's probably thinner running back. Um, but the mini stacks and correlations are nice. Theo's an interesting take there. This environment, probably not. And they go back to like the Camp News thing. Johnson's a guy who's super athletic, but I'm not sure he's going to win the job straight up over Bellinger. Bellinger was kind of mixing in with Waller last year, so I don't love taking part-time tight ends that may not be. I need Camp News to tell me that Theo's going to be offense as a rookie tight end and is going to get some work. Otherwise, he might just be like a really athletic blocker who's like your 2 or 3 guy. I know, right? Yeah, Bendel's not being awake for a basketball live stream. Famously said with pretty down and out many streams going on. Not complaining about the saturation. They hate to see it. They hate to see it. Thaddeus Brown, thanks for joining. Get your guys. I know one of my guys. I feel good about that. You can't be sinning on the Lord's Day, Bendels. It's Sunday. And on the 7th day, Bendels almost rested. This is true. He still woke up and caught a stream live. So the sickness has to. Do one more check of the board. See anything interesting. This robust running back bro taking Mondre in the 7th. Really hurting. There does stack up Jaden Jahan and Gabe and Ben Smith, who again cumulative scoring at that price probably too tough to stomach. Does handcuff with Oates, so I guess he's telling himself he's got the full Washington tight end value to which I guess, man, that's kind of a tough sell. I think you're in a marathon thing like this. You probably just want one or the other. Maybe what you're telling yourself is this is just not the play. Is that, I mean, what's that play that Zach Ertz crushes for the first 5-6 weeks on usage, and then relegated with hurt and it takes over? I don't know how I feel about that. I know how I feel about handcuffing tight ends. I'm not into it. Joaquin Lorenz running back in every draft here. You know what? Probably, and you probably just. I think you just got to bet which guy you're taking at that point. I don't know. It's the Miami running back in every draft thing was prudent because that backfield has just so much value because the offense scores a lot, and you use running backs in both the pass and Seattle really hasn't proven that they can do that to that level. I think you're better off just one guy's going to win. Just either bet Walker stays healthy and maintains a 75% plus usage rate and just crushes on touchdowns, or you just take Sharp at every draft and hope that his loan value and his contingent value hits. And even then, it is a new coaching staff. I want to know. We have Mike McDonald and bringing in a new OC as well in Garup. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to utilize the running back room. Baltimore, we saw 3 running back committees with different guys that profiled in the pass and the run in different roles, and we haven't gotten a lot of information how they're going to use the running backs quite yet. So I don't know. TBD, more information on running back. See the running back. All right, folks, it was fun. Appreciate you hanging. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I love brunch with friends. I really do. It so much like Maria Kondo. Follow your joy. A few last minute chills. Please like, please subscribe. We're super close to a lot of fun things coming your way. Giveaways, emo streams, some other secret things, emphasis on secret and fun. So you're gonna want to stick around for that. Come join, come hang out. We're gonna give out a lot of alpha. We know ball. We're gonna give you all the fun stuff you need. I want to remind folks that some really fun pre-recorded stuff on Elite Titans, Elite Quarterbacks, and Dynasty Hacks all hit the channel on a regular basis. Some really good stuff came out yesterday and this past week. Pat Corain was on this week talking to DraftKings. Had some really fun, awesome things to say on players and bold strategy. So if you didn't check it out, go check it out. It's almost to 100 likes. So that's almost your access to 100 like goal right there. Along with that, 40% off all Spike Week products for Fantasy Sanctuary members. As well as that, member for basically nothing. I think I'll have to say Big Mac. I'll say Starbucks shit coffee. Become a member. You get ranks. You get Discord access. You get some really fun stuff at different levels. Super cheap, super fun, super worth your time. You worded that well, so I'll say it. Yes, that is fun. Emphasis on the bananas and avocados. I hope you noticed. I did. Appreciate you all for joining us, and I'll catch you next time. Yosh, Meatwad, Star, David, Bendels, Tom, Thaddeus. Appreciate you.